My name is Francis J. Ezzo. I'm 79 years old.
Okay, great. And I'm sure you've heard about the project, maybe you've talked to other veterans about it, but we're interested in getting to know or understanding how you feel towards the project. What does it mean to participate in it with us?
Well, I think it's a good project. Everybody that I talk to eventually wants to see it. My own family, in fact, my children. So it's probably going to be a good thing.
So you've had a chance to discuss it with them?
Yes.
How do they feel? Why do they want you to participate?
Well, I never talked about it that much while they were growing up, so this might be a good thing for them.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll open some bridges
Right.
and you can
Yes.
talk about it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
How about apart from family, how does it, I guess in the grander scheme, what does it mean for you to participate?
Well, I think everybody should know about what happened in Korea. A lot of people didn't even know it was happening, and this might help out.
Yeah. Why do you think they didn't know it was happening?
Well, it was so close to the Second World War. I mean, it happened so close to it that I think they just weren't. Police action, it was called.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that a lot.
So it wasn't a war.
So it's kind of a combination of people being fed up with living through a war and wanting to forget about it, with the fact that the government was not even calling it a war in the first place. They were, kind of minimizing the extent of.
That's what I think.
Uh-huh.
That's my thoughts anyway. I've said that before, and I'll stick with it.
Yeah.
I think that was the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Being so close to the other war
Yeah.
that it wasn't thought about.
Uh-huh. So, how did that make you feel? Like, I mean, we'll go back to your life before, but I'm wondering, after you came back, what it was like. I guess people didn't still not have considered it a war, or.
There was no talk about it.
Yeah.
I came home. I just met my parents at the airport when I got here, and that was it.
Yeah.
And there was no talk about the Korean War.
Did you want to talk about it, or was
Not
it just,
necessarily.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I did. No,
Yeah.
and I didn't that much.
That's interesting because, I've never served in a war, but whenever I come home, that's the only thing I want to do is talk about it.
No, I didn't. Nobody asked me any questions about it, so I didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
If somebody was to ask me, I would say something, but as just to be outspoken about it, I didn't.
Yeah. So
I don't think people were talking about it.
Did that bother you at all?
No, I'm not that kind. It doesn't bother me
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So, I was wondering if you could maybe take us a little bit about briefly what you were doing before the war and how you came to enlist or get drafted or whichever.
Well, I was only 18 years old. I was out of high school. I mean, what job did I have? I worked at a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I did join the a reserve, 10th Tank Battalion. It was in Syracuse. It was the Marine Corps. And I was only in that about a month, and they decided to join the Marine Corps. So I discharged out of that and joined the Marine Corps.
I'm sure they're happy about that.
Probably. I don't know.
So did you want to enlist in the Marine Corps because you were just not really happy with your work and situation?
No. There was not much going on. I
You
didn't go to college, so I figured that would be the thing to do.
Yeah, you wanted something else.
And all my relatives were former Marines, so.
Mhm. So it's almost like the natural progression.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You think part of it was maybe you kind of wanted to make them proud, or?
No,
Just a personal thing.
it was just a personal thing. Yeah,
Okay. And
following their footsteps.
had the Korean War started when you enlisted?
No. I went to boot camp, and got through that okay. And then there was a chance to go to the Mediterranean. they always have Marines in the Mediterranean. It's called the Sixth Fleet, all the time. And I volunteered for it. Naturally, I didn't go home yet. So I never got home till after Korea, really. So in the Mediterranean, the war broke out
Right.
in Korea,
Right. So when did you actually enlist?
1949, late 49.
Okay, right. And then when did you go to the Mediterranean?
Was right after boot camp. It had to be, I don't know, let me just see, 10 weeks, March maybe,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay. And you went straight from the Mediterranean
Yeah,
to Korea?
I was on a cruiser in the Mediterranean. We were aboard a cruiser attached, and when that broke out, I changed ships about 3 times because the ship we were on came back to the States to be refitted to go to Korea. So, and it couldn't get through the canal anyway, so eventually I was on a troop ship and went through the Suez Canal and down that way to Japan, to Kobe.
So that's quite a difference from
Yeah, having
being a
that fun.
Mediterranean
Yeah,
to going to Korea.
right.
Well,
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen, so.
were you guys aware of what was going on at all when it's first broke
Not
out?
that much, really, just what we heard when we got aboard ship, the troop ship. And then we knew that when we got to Kobe, there was reserves coming from the States to Kobe also to intermingle with the regulars.
So you knew something was going on.
Yeah, then, yes.
And did they tell you it was like a police action, or how did they,
I don't know. When you're in a regular Marine Corps, they don't tell you too much.
Yeah. You just kind of take
You
orders
just
and-
find out when they want you to know.
Right, and you show up.
Right.
So, I wanted to ask you how you felt about going to Korea, about
It was
fighting there.
it was my job.
Uh-huh.
I was a Marine. I was in the regulars. If they said this is where you're going, you go.
Uh-huh. So there's no real anxiety when you're on your way over there?
I didn't have any because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, right. So then what was it like when you first landed?
It's just a little frightful.
Yeah, so that's when
Somebody
it
shooting at you.
started kicking in
Oh,
the
yeah.
reality of the
Oh, sure.
situation.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, you have your squad with you. I mean, all your people, and they're looking out for you. You're looking out for them. It's just a normal thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, but you said it was a little scary. You had bullets flying over you.
Well, sure.
Yeah. I mean, anyone's going to be scared, of course.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So how soon after did you land did you actually find yourself in action?
It's immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, and that was your first battle. How long did that last?
Well, from then on, it was one after another.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you never knew what was going to happen. I mean, I don't say you're getting shot at all the time, but I mean, as you advance, naturally, things happen.
So you guys were pretty active then.
I was in a machine gun company, outfit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're not really the extreme front,
Yeah.
because infantry's first, and then your backups to them.
Uh-huh.
So, those things happen. They're the ones that probably get it first,
Right.
and then you're after them.
Yeah.
And you have to set up to use it, and it's a little different.
But then at the same time, people are aiming for you.
Well,
'Cause you're the
naturally.
heavy,
Naturally.
heavy
Oh, yeah,
You're the big target on your back.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, there's probably 10 of us in a squad. In the beginning, there's a gunner, the actual guy that shoots the weapon, and an assistant, and then there's the rest of us carry the ammunition for them, plus our own rifle and that. And then if something happens to the lead person, somebody else takes his place, and then you move up.
So eventually.
And eventually, you're going to be the guy up there,
Yeah.
which it
That's
happens.
kind of a scary thought then. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you're almost, it's like an imminent.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
it's a possibility.
Yeah. But then, kind of getting the impression that your reaction is just that it's part of the job. You're not really kind of.
Yeah, you want to stay alive, but it's your job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to be there next to your other person. I mean,
Yeah. So what was the connection then that you had with the other soldiers? I mean, clearly you're depending on each other for your lives. You know, you must have had a pretty tight bond.
yes, we did. I mean, like naturally, we all knew each other. We slept together.
Mm-hmm.
It's always two guys together.
Mm-hmm. You gotta have the buddy system.
Right. Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're sleeping, he's awake,
Yeah.
if that happens,
Right.
and vice versa.
So, were you living in pretty harsh conditions then?
At times,
Yeah.
not always.
Yeah.
There was always a time. You got to understand there's 3 squads in a platoon. There's always 2 up and 1 back
So how many
in
how many
reserve.
soldiers is that?
Well, it varies. There's 10 in each
Squad.
squad, so let's say 30.
Yeah.
So there's 20 up, and there's 2 squads are up front, and 1's back in reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Then it changes. You might go up, and then the 1 comes back. So they have a little
Yeah.
rest time. And it happens in all, even infantry and so forth.
Yeah. So, is there never a time, you know, throughout the war you're like, I can't handle this, or, you know, this is really intense, or just kind of got to you?
I never had that feeling.
Yeah. You're
I
strong.
just, well, no, I don't say I'm strong. I just did what I had to do and tried not to show. I mean, you're all trying to work together. I mean, I think that's why the Marines stick together
Yeah.
more so. I don't know because that's where I was. I can't answer for anybody else.
Did you ever fight or work with members of the other branches of the military?
No, we were always working
Always
together.
just the Marines?
I mean, they might have been near us.
Right. So how about Korean Army or Korean service?
No, same thing. We always were ourselves, and then they might have been on our right side or our left side. You
But
know,
you didn't really kind of
we didn't
focus on yourselves.
right. Yes. Yeah. We may have an observer or something like that, you know, but it wouldn't be me anyway. It'd be our officers that
So
were
it's a-
dealing with them.
Sounds like a pretty tight-knit family.
Well, it is. We were. I think that's why a lot of us survived.
Yeah. What was it like when someone didn't survive? If, you know, one of your fellow soldiers fell.
Well,
It's just
somebody took care of them, or we took care of them until the corpsman came and helped them out and brought them back to the back.
I guess you don't really have time to reflect or mourn.
You don't really have that time.
Yeah.
You got to be yourself and
Uh-huh.
take that action.
Yeah. Did you have any downtime at all? I mean, you must have had some RO.
Yeah, we had some downtime, as you can see in some of the pictures I brought. I mean, there was times we were like set up in a tent camp, and then that was our downtime, and then we were up, and maybe somebody else did their downtime.
Okay, well, I definitely want to check those pictures out. Maybe at the end of this, you know, we'll get a chance to go through them. You can give me a story or two.
Yeah.
Do you have any fond memories of R&R or hanging out with your buddies?
Well, when you look at the pictures, you'll probably see that we did have some fun.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could just take a look at them now while it's on the subject. Maybe we could.
Yeah. This was some downtime right here.
Okay. So this is you.
This is Pohan. This is part of my squad, our squad. In fact, he was our squad leader.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait a minute. he was our squad
Robert
leader.
Blackstone?
Yeah. And we were just all part of the squad.
Uh-huh. So did you guys play cards or anything like that?
Well, I don't know if anybody had any cards. Shoot the breeze and stuff.
Yeah. Is that
Talk
your
about
weapon?
things back home and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, families. You know, you meet the guys.
Yeah, so you learn about their families?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's me.
There you go.
This is a whole squad.
These are the guys that you're fighting with?
Yeah, these are my people.
Uh-huh. This is you?
This is when, yes. This is when this was my first squad of guys.
Yeah.
when we
That's,
got
I want to see the movie poster picture that you have.
there. Oh, that's in there.
Okay, well this is a picture of Seoul.
Well, this is Hungnam when we
Oh, okay.
come out of the Chosin. That's what was left of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Before
can see
we-
that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they're all the buildings
Oh,
are
pretty
completely
bombed out.
decimated. Yeah.
And this is, in fact, what happened here is when I boarded the ship, when we were leaving, I met my cousin.
Oh, that's your
Aboard
cousin.
ship, yeah. He was part of the ship's company.
Did
on
you
the
know?
ship that we were being evacuated.
You
No,
didn't know?
I just happened to see him
That's
when
great.
I boarded the ship. That's him there again.
That's great.
Yeah,
What was it like to see
that was great.
yeah, see a familiar face? It
But
must have been-
but then he volunteered to get in a rifle company, not stay aboard ship.
Mhm.
So he was pretty close to me after that.
So you guys, oh here it is. Let's get this.
That's the caption that was behind the
Right.
picture.
This is a nice picture right here. You look pretty happy.
That's when I got rotated out of Korea.
Oh, that's why you look happy. Let's move that right there.
Yeah. These were the new recruits coming in.
Uh-huh. So you're like,
Little
good luck,
dirt.
guys.
Yeah.
Have a good time. So I want to talk about your cousin again. So
Yeah.
did you know that he was in Korea?
No,
You
he
didn't
was a
know?
reserve.
Uh-huh.
He was in the 10th Tank Battalion in Syracuse, and they got activated. And then all of a sudden, there he was.
Mhm. That's such a small world.
Yeah, I just happened to walk on the deck, and I saw him.
You know, I've heard several stories about veterans just running into their cousins or family members, and they might have known they're in Korea, but they didn't know where they're stationed.
Right, but I didn't even know he was going to be
Right,
there.
yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's see now. I would like to. I had a question for you. All right. So thinking back on the war, it's hard, I guess, to reflect on the challenging times. You kind of take them in the stride. What about the time where one of your fondest memories of being in the war?
That's a hard thing. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, a time like just maybe on R&R when you're hanging out with your fellow soldiers, or, that picture.
Well, I was going home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not home, but I mean, I was leaving,
You were leaving
Korea,
Right.
and I thought that was pretty good.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
but
So,
at that time, I wasn't with my squad either.
right.
I left them.
So it's kind of like a bittersweet.
Yeah, because you're leaving them, and they're still going to be there doing their job, and you're leaving.
Mhm.
I don't know. Some of them I don't even know what happened to them
Mhm.
after that. So that could be.
Why do soldiers leave at different times?
It's just the way the rotation goes. They probably figure how long you've been there.
So you didn't all come in together then?
No, we all went there together, but then through wounded and stuff, we changed people too. New people came in with us, and that's the way it happened. And then I think it's time served or whatever. I don't know how they do it.
So, Did you? Here's my question. Did you ever come close to an encounter with the opposition?
Oh, we were close.
Yeah.
We were more close at the Chosen
Yeah.
because it was more. That's when the Chinese came into the battle, and it was pretty hairy
Yeah. So,
because they were night fighters more than we were, and their bugles and their whistles and their clanging and
yeah.
that all took
A
place.
little different.
It was a little bit different.
How did you guys react to that?
And this was in the winter, besides cold.
So was the idea was to kind of throw you off your
Right.
game and a little.
Yeah, because they made a lot of noise and they were more night fighters.
Did it work?
Well, we still held out
You held your
as
ground?
long as we could,
Yeah.
and that's when things started to happen and we had to move out. They called it, I forgot what they said, retreat hell. It was advance in a different direction. That's what I think the general said.
How do you have any animosity towards Chinese in general now because you're fighting against them, or was it just?
Oh, no, it was a battle. They were shooting at us. We had to shoot back at them. I mean,
They probably feel the same way.
I think they had it worse than we did. They
Why?
weren't dressed for it.
So the cold might.
Some didn't have weapons.
Uh-huh.
Some didn't have shoes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did
There was
you,
just a lot of them.
Did you witness this, or
Oh, we saw them. It was sure. After.
afterwards? After the ceasefire?
No, after they were killed.
Oh, after. Oh, I see.
After the battle. I mean, they attacked at night, so during the day you could see what happened. Yeah. They didn't have it easy either. But there was just so many of them.
Yeah, a lot of the veterans I've talked to discuss how outnumbered the American military was.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, I'd say so because a lot of us came back.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
Yeah.
our squads were reduced very badly.
Mm-hmm.
Lost a lot of good people.
Yeah. Is there one particular battle that you can remember that sticks out?
A lot of guys remember battles. I just remember that we were there and we fought our battles, whether it was this hill or that hill. I just don't remember those kind of things, hill number 25 or 50, or just remember that we were there and we fought them.
So
Up one hill, down another, and up another hill, and down another hill.
So you're not concerned where you're going. You
Just do your job.
yeah. That's kind of interesting actually, because a lot of the Marines that I've talked to, former Marines that I've talked to, are kind of echoing the sentiment that you say. It's more of a job thing, and they're not really worried about anything else. And just kind of comparing that to other branches of the military. I don't know. There's definitely a difference there. They knew where they were going. They're very cognizant of what battle they were in, what hill they were
Yeah,
fighting on.
yeah,
It's interesting.
I've heard that. And there's some of our people that remember Hill 25 or Hill 249. I don't recall that.
Yeah.
All I know is they said, go up that hill, whatever hill number it was, and you did it.
So, considering that you don't recall that, can you remember what kind of impressions you had of the countryside?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
of the civilians that you might have seen?
We saw quite a few civilians, but once we were up in the mountains, you didn't see too many. I mean, you saw the rice paddies that you walked through and things like that. And you did see some people with little kids and
Did you
stuff.
ever interact with them at all?
Well, we didn't speak the language, for one
Kind
thing.
of say hi or...
They would wave at you. The kids would try to get something from you, or you'd give them something,
Yeah. Yeah.
a candy bar or
Right.
some rations. Or something.
And so the picture that you have with the bombed out buildings, a lot of veterans I talk to just they like to compare the cities and towns that they've seen in Korea compared to, where they grew up, the vast difference that they see.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, the only ones that I remember, the cities were, well, after they were bombed, wasn't much left of them, but, and the people that lived, they were like farmers, like we had. I mean, in a way. I mean, the rice paddies, and you'd see a little thatched roof house, not like our houses, and like that.
So did you ever think, like, man, these people are pretty poor? And
Yeah, and I think they were.
yeah.
Just, yeah.
How do you compare that to today?
Today,
Yeah.
I think it must be fabulous. I've never gone back yet, so.
Are you
But
talking-
everybody that comes back says you can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
The development that they've
Right,
achieved.
yes,
Mhm.
and it's great. But they all say that it's because of us that they're doing what they're doing.
What do you say?
I think I feel great that they feel that way.
Yeah.
They're the only people that seem like ever thanked us for whatever we did.
That's interesting. I think that's an important comment that you said.
Uh,
So maybe a lot of the incursions or actions that are you referring to the U.S. military, U.S. in general, or?
Well, I think the military, for one thing, we were there. And I'm glad, I feel glad when they say that to us and what they do for us even here.
Mm-hmm.
Invite us to everything they have, and I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we love to come. I mean, everything that we can do.
Yeah. And so, how does that, how can you compare it then to, basically by saying that, the Koreans are very thankful and gracious for how the United States have helped them, could you compare that to an instance where that hasn't happened? Or maybe, the U.S. was involved in...
Well, I think there's a lot of countries that never thanked us for helping them.
Yeah. Right,
But-
justly or unjustly, right?
And I think they should have.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've got that from them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Koreans
getting-
have.
Mm-hmm. And does that make you proud to serve there?
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very. I'm glad that I was able to do something there.
Mm-hmm.
My little part.
Yeah. I guess it's important that you kind of...
Oh, I feel that way. I'm not sorry that I went there. I mean, that was my job, but still, I didn't shy away from it. I did it.
So what if something happened in the region again and you were 20 years old?
I'd go back again.
Yeah.
If that guy up there was going to start something, well, I belong to the Korean War vets, and we always talk about that. Well, let's get ready to go back.
Yeah. You guys are working out
Yeah.
and getting in shape?
Yeah, right.
So,
I don't think I could do it, but I sure try.
yeah. Well, I think that's important, how attached to the whole region, you feel because of...
Oh yeah, I feel so great for them and what they've done there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So how do you feel, I mean, you kind of hinted at it, the difference between North Korea and South Korea.
I don't know what they're doing up there.
Yeah.
They just have no brains or something. I don't know what it is.
Do you...
It's too bad, because if they would only give in a little bit, we'd probably help them.
Yeah.
I don't mean give in diplomatically.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem like they want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sorry for the South Koreans because they're so close to them.
Yeah. Well, I guess when it comes down to it, they're the same people.
That's right. I mean, they have friends up there, or they did have, or
Okay.
family. And it's too bad, really.
Do you think it'll ever be resolved?
It hasn't done it for 60 years. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's right.
We will see. So, when you came home after that picture,
Yep.
Were you discharged or?
No, I had another, I was stationed, you had three choices you could pick if you could get it. And you gave it to your commander. And in fact, I was stationed in Charlestown Navy Yard in Boston, guard duty at a Navy shipyard
Okay.
for a while, and then I got discharged out of Camp Lejeune.
Where is that?
It's in North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay. So you were doing the guard duty mostly until you were
Yeah.
discharged?
Yeah.
So what was that transition like coming home from all this action? I mean, you were really busy over there.
Yeah, but then once I got to this station there, the guard duty, that was like
Opposite. Whole 180.
opposite, all right.
Yeah.
That was like a vacation.
So it was,
3 meals a day.
you're working, getting paid, but you know, a lot of downtime.
Oh, a lot of downtime.
Was it boring at all? I mean, did you ever
Sure, it was-
find yourself missing the action that you?
Well, I don't think I missed the action,
Yeah.
but it was kind of boring
Uh-huh.
because you had to find something to do. I mean, you couldn't go out all the time.
Yeah, right.
But it was part of the job too. That too. We did a lot.
And how about your transition to civilian life?
Well, I was still only 20 years old, so
Yeah. So you're not even an adult barely, right?
no.
Yeah.
And I still didn't go to college.
Yeah. What did you do?
I went and got married.
Okay, well, you know, that's unfortunate.
4 children.
Great. That's great.
Yeah. So
How soon did you get married after you returned?
it was about a year. Yeah.
And,
The same girl that I met before I left.
oh, okay. Well, I'd love to hear about that.
Well, I'm not married to her now, so
Okay, well,
I remarried again. Yeah.
okay. Did you, but you guys kept in touch
Yes. Oh, yeah.
throughout the war, through
Oh, yeah.
letters? And,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hmm.
And, I mean, if you don't mind talking about it a little bit, I'm wondering how that kind of impacted your relationship with her while you were over there and then kind of
Well,
directly after you got back.
The relationship was great because we just corresponded back and forth, letters and stuff. And when I came back, we still met again and courtship, and eventually we got married. And then had 4 children. So.
What was it like when you were leaving? From
No,
her?
that was I was only 18 years old.
So it was kind of like both of you were kids, I guess.
Yeah, we were just kids at school. She was still in school.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but because she was a few years younger. But
So she didn't really comprehend what was going on.
well, she knew where I was going. I mean, I was going into the service. She didn't know I was going into war. But when I left, I was just going to boot camp. So, and it was peacetime at that time.
And how about your family? How did they feel about you enlisting, and then when they found out that you were actually going to be leaving?
Well, they knew I was leaving. They had no.
I guess if it's.
I'm the only one in the family.
Mhm.
It's just my mother and father and
So
me.
they're probably
I had a lot of
protective of you.
relatives, but my mother was one of 11 children, so we had a lot of relatives in the same area. But no, I still left.
They didn't have any reservations about
No.
letting their only son go?
No, I guess I probably wouldn't have had to go because I was the only son, but I still went.
You don't have to go.
Well,
if
I
you're
don't
the
know if
son.
that was true or not. I mean, now it is, I guess. If you're the only namesake left,
Yeah.
you don't really have to go into battle anyway. I think you can still be in the service, though.
Right.
Because remember Private Ryan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's another veteran was discussing that.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I forget who it was, but he was saying that he was an only child also,
Right.
and he found out later about the law, and he was like, if I knew about it,
See, I probably didn't even know about it at that time. So, and they don't tell you. They didn't tell me.
right? Yeah, of course. They conveniently don't tell you. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess thinking back on the war and then your civilian life, starting a family, having children, getting a job, what you know stuck with you from your experience? What kind of impacted you?
Gee, you mean just going back into civilian life?
Yeah, I mean, how did you feel like your life changed, or like
I don't.
In the war, how did it actually impact how you kind of?
I think it made me a better person.
How did it do that?
Just made me think more about myself, to be a good person, knowing that what happened over there and that, and I really don't.
So you kind of live by certain values then, maybe.
Yeah, I just I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
I think I've always been a good father and that to my children and that. So.
Have you had a chance to discuss your experiences with your children? Do they kind of?
No, I never talked about it that much.
Are they interested, do you think?
They probably are.
Yeah.
I hope they listen to this.
They probably will.
Yeah.
So how about changing your perspectives on life? You know.
Well, it changed to know what war was like,
Yeah.
for one thing, because we heard about war all the time in the Second World War when I was younger, but never knew exactly what it was all about, and it ain't a good thing.
Yeah.
But you know what's going on then, and it's happening to you, and what could happen to you. But I don't know,
Well, I think that's interesting. I mean, even today, there's so many movies and the news is always talking about the war, but really we don't know. Me as a civilian, like I don't really know at all what war is like. And it's interesting the relationship that we have with the military as civilians.
Until you do it, you won't know.
Yeah. And also,
And not
I
from
will
the
never
movies
know.
or anything, and it's good. I mean, if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
My children, none of them had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They were just at the right ages at the times, and well, I'm glad they didn't have to.
Why are you glad? Just because you don't want them to experience that, or the probability, or the chances of...
Right, chances of being killed and
Mm-hmm.
maimed or something, like today. It's just
A lot is...
terrible.
Yeah. And it's not even necessarily physical things that...
That's right. Mentally, a lot of it's mental.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not good.
So would you ever encourage or discourage... I mean, I guess if your child maybe approached you, let's say, and said, Dad, I want to join the military.
If it was the right time, I'd encourage them. Why
Right
not?
time, depending, you mean, on that type of war that's actually
Right.
being fought.
Right.
Do you think this is the right time now?
No, I don't. I really don't. It's terrible what's happening with all these. It's not our kind of a war like we fought.
Mm-hmm.
We had a front line. We knew what was going on. Now it's just terrible.
Urban combat.
Yeah, this is just, you don't know who the enemy is.
It's scary. It's really scary.
It
Every day
is.
in the news, in the headlines, you hear about...
All these IUDs and stuff, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we had a front line. We knew they were ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes there would be an infiltration, but
But
not that often.
It's interesting because, you know, when the American military was in Korea, the Koreans that you were either fighting with or in the Korean Service Corps or the civilians, you didn't have to worry about them.
No, very seldom,
Mm-hmm.
very seldom. But now it's terrible.
Yeah.
You don't know who the enemy is.
You don't know who the enemy is, plus the Koreans wanted you to be there in the first place.
That's right, that's right. I mean, these people wanted us to be there too, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel anyway.
Well, I think that's
There's a lot of it.
I think that's a very valid opinion
Yeah.
based on their actions and
You mean,
on the military community or civilian life. You know, what is this Korean War? What does it leave in the minds of people?
I mean, that we did the right thing, I think,
On entering?
on entering and helping the Korean people out. And I know they were grateful to us for it. I think that's all I can say about that.
No, I think that's good. And so you haven't had a chance to go back, but you will be going back.
Well, I think about it all the time, but at first I didn't know if I wanted to bring back memories and stuff. But everybody that's gone there said they've had a wonderful time.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
I know it.
Yeah.
And this year I saw in the paper where they're going to allow more money towards it.
Oh.
In the
So-
new magazine I just got, that they're going to allow more money to let have us go. Sounds pretty
So
good.
maybe you should take advantage.
You know,
While the
yeah,
money's
before I
there.
get any older anyway.
All right, so just to kind of wrap it up, I'm wondering, for the future generations that will be listening to your interview and looking at this database when the project is up and running, you know, getting a chance to kind of get the perspectives of the veterans and their ideas and experiences on the Korean War, I'm wondering if you could maybe provide some thoughts or a message or two to them regarding life or anything.
Boy. I don't know what to say. Well, just for my own version, if I had it to do over again, I would do it. And I hope that the future generations would have the same feeling for someone else if it ever happens to come up. And whatever happens, I hope they would.
Do you have any feeling about, I guess, you know, as we've discussed, that the Korean War is referred to as this forgotten war, to, you know, a lot of veterans that I've talked to kind of have this impression that a lot of children, you know, they know about World War II, and then kind of after that it fades.
Well, it did, because it was never talked about,
And even now,
and not even in the textbooks. I mean, I don't know why they keep forgetting it. And every so often, it's always skipped over. It's the World War I, World War II, and then all of a sudden it skips over
to Vietnam
or something.
or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
you just forget that name.
Yeah. Well,
And then and I know we were all there.
well, you're certainly not forgotten for us. We appreciate you coming by, Mr. Ezzo.
Thank you.
It's been really great listening to you.
Well, I hope you get something out
No,
of it.
yeah, I mean, I think you had a great interview.
Well,
But before we leave here,
oh yeah.
I actually want to present you with this medal. It's the Ambassador for Peace medal that's given by the Republic of Korean government through the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs and the Korean Veterans Association. So, as a token of their appreciation, they would like to present you with this medal. And if you don't mind, I'm going to put it around your neck.
Oh,
It says Korean War Veteran Honor in Korean. I can't read Korean, but
neither can I.
there you go, sir.
Oh, thank you very
And
much.
thank you again for
Thank you.
participating in this project.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Of course.